hell blinded me with some.
Right now I'm on my way to class. I'm about to learn from the coolest professor. His name is Mr. Perla. He's been teaching at Hermantown for I don't know how many years now, but he teaches many classes, including the CIS physics class that I'm in. He's also the golf coach there too. He says he's got a really special lesson in store today. Something about air resistance or drag, or I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty excited to learn, so. It's 7:59 right now, and class starts at 8, so I gotta hurry up. Why, hello, Isaac. How nice of you to join us. Even though you're a minute late, that's gonna be another tardy. Anyways, take a seat. We're about to learn about air resistance. Before we get started with our lesson today, I just want you to have a nice understanding of what air resistance actually is. Although you may find many definitions of it online, the most plausible is that air resistance is the way that air slows down a moving object. Now that everyone knows what air resistance is, I'm going to do a fun little experiment that shows just how it works. So in this experiment, I have two equal sheets of paper, and they have the same mass. So I'm going to drop them from the same height at the same time, and let's see what happens. They hit the ground at the same time. Alright, now, what happens when I crumple one up? Although I don't change it, are they still going to hit at the same time? Let's see. The crumpled sheet of paper hit the ground a lot sooner than this one. Can anybody tell me why that is? Yeah, you over there, Mr. Hiner. Why don't you tell us? Oh, me? Air resistance? Is it because the flatter sheet of paper had more air resistance? Yes, you're right. Air resistance. Why don't you try staying awake next time, though? The flatter sheet of paper fell slower because it had a larger surface area. When it was falling to the ground compared to the crumpled sheet of paper, it hit more air molecules than the crumpled one. That's why it fell to the ground slower. According to a man who is very great at physics, Isaac Newton, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So in the case of the sheet of paper, the flat one, while it fell to the ground, it came in contact with millions of tiny air molecules. As it fell, each one of those air molecules put a force on the sheet of paper as the paper put a force back on the air molecules. So when it was falling, it pushed on the air molecules, they pushed back, and that's what caused it to slow down. And that's what we call air resistance. Another cool way of showing how this works is by looking at a hairdryer and a ping pong ball. When I launch air molecules up out of the hairdryer and put the ping pong ball here, let's see what happens to it. As a great physicist, Isaac Newton said, an object in motion will stay in motion, and an object at rest will stay at rest. But the object in motion will stay in motion and continue in a straight line until acted upon by an unbalanced force. In the case of the ping pong ball, when it had an acceleration and tendency to fall towards the ground, the unbalanced force of the air molecules being launched up actually stopped it from doing that and actually made it float. No, I didn't have the force. It floated because of the air resistance that the molecules were causing it. Now, I hope you all had as much fun as I did today. These experiments are just few of the many ways that air resistance is present in our everyday world. Since air molecules are basically everywhere, every time we move we're affected by air resistance. It's very important just to know how that affects us and why sometimes when we're running or when we're driving a car we feel like we're being slowed down. Mr. Perla, I just wanted to say that this was one of the coolest lessons that I've ever had. Not only was it super fun, engaging, and entertaining, and also informative, I also learned a lot too. I also want to apologize for falling asleep earlier. That's kind of unlike, yeah, and showing up late. That's never going to happen again. You won't have to worry about that. You really are one of the greatest teachers. Thank you very much for today. Oh, bell ring. Gotta go.